Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Today on Ford Fridays we're going to look at this Ford Cars brochure from 1977 for the Ford Fiesta. Welcome back, and if you are new to Quarterlight, like I said in the intro there, we are a car brochure channel. We're looking at car brochures 3 times a week, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode, the Ford Fiesta. Yeah, I didn't get that wrong. This is a Ford Cars brochure from 77. It shows a Granada, of course, but the book itself shows the entire range. We're just going to be looking at that Mark 1 or first generation Ford Fiesta that came out in 1976. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so here it is, the full range Ford Cars, October 1977. As you can see, bit of a dealer stamp on this particular one. Ford Godfrey Davis in London. I wonder if that dealership is still around or not. Probably not, but if you do know, certainly pop that in the comments. And it says the Ford Autumn Collection. Of course, showing this very autumnal coloured gold Ford Granada on the front cover, which looks very nice. And like I say, we're looking at the Fiesta today. And as we open the first page, it goes straight onto the new Ford Fiesta and showing the Fiesta S, sort of like the sporty version of the Fiesta at the time. We'll have a quick look at some of this text to see how it's advertising the car. So it's saying here, the new Ford Fiesta, advanced engineering should make a car work better without making it more complicated and expensive to maintain, because the simpler a car is, the less it costs to own. That's the thinking behind the Fiesta. It's a 3-door hatchback with folding rear seats, a transverse engine and rear wheel drive. It combines all the best features of all small cars in just one car: safe handling, a surprising amount of space and remarkable economy. Fiesta has 2 advanced safety features built into the steering and braking system: negative scrub steering geometry and diagonally split dual line brakes. Together they combine to give safe, sure braking whatever the condition. Fiesta has the widest track in its class, steel braced radial ply tyres, rack and pinion steering. The gearbox lives up to Ford's reputation for light, quick and precise changes, and there's a choice of engines. There's more legroom in the Fiesta than in most other small cars, and with the back seats folded there's 42.6 cubic feet of luggage space. For an advanced car, it's amazingly cheap to own. Fuel consumption figures obtained from a standard European test showing 37.7 miles per gallon for the 950, 35.8 miles per gallon for the 1100 models. To keep ownership down still further, we have simplified service requirements, reduced extensive labour charges to a minimum. Doesn't really mention here that $12.98, although that's just come out, I guess. You'll find a surprising amount of space under the bonnet, which makes everything very accessible. The bodywork is treated with phosphate to inhibit rust. Then it gets an electro coat primer, a spray primer and 4 coats of acrylic paint for a really durable finish. They're still rusted though, isn't they? To quote Autocar, as a piece of Ford thoroughness, the Fiesta is perhaps their most impressive car yet. So back to that lovely image of the Fiesta S, and we'll have a better look at it further on the pages. Unusual little caption in it: "Oh, what a beautiful baby." There we go. Of course, the baby of the family, the smallest car in the range. Starts off in typical Ford fashion. I guess most car fashion. We've got the base model, super basic, of course. We'll have a look at some of these captions, but you can see a very, very basic model. It's not even calling this a Popular or a Popular Plus, it's just the Fiesta. Okay, so let's zoom in on this super base model. It says Fiesta, it's only small on the outside, so a 950 engine on this one. Saying a Ford Sonic idler carburetor for fuel economy in town driving conditions. Diagonally split dual line braking system with front discs and self-adjusting rear drums. Steel braced radial ply tyres. A tailgate with twin gas struts opening from floor level. We've got hazard warning flashes, self-adjusting clutch, an electric engine fan, front air dam for improved straight line stability, printed circuit instrument wiring, maintenance free wheel bearings, suspension and steering, 42.6 cubic feet of luggage space with rear seats folded, and a driver's door mounted mirror. Of course, none on the passenger, that would be far too much, of course. And you can see, hatchbacks were kind of like becoming the big thing, so very cleverly they made a small hatchback, and of course that was the right move. If I can show you the interior, very, very basic, isn't it? You're not going to be struggling to learn the controls on this little baby. It's super, super basic, but still a very practical, small, three-door car. Over the side, it also goes into some of the details. So I talked about that 950 engine. You can only get the 950 on this super base model, and it's got a 4-speed synchromesh gearbox. And then it goes into some of the details, which I'm not going to go into all this detail on here. And also it gives you some idea of some of the equipment levels on there. It's saying the car illustrated is a Fiesta Saloon. Strange they don't call it a Fiesta hatchback, but Fiesta Saloon in Venetian red with black fabric trim. Options fitted on this model at extra cost are that fabric trim and heated rear window. Amazing that trim is an optional extra because it looks very basic and very, very cheap. No, driver's door mirror is now finished in black, not bright as illustrated. So, which is strange because at the bottom here, it does show a black mirror, and then I think it's referring to this top one here, which is actually a chrome mirror, which they changed. Then we move up the range to the Fiesta L. So we got a few little extra sort of gauges. These amazing green seats. I do like this particular colour. It's telling us this one's available as a 950 or an 1100, so you do have that choice. And again, we'll have a look at some of this text. Moved up the trim level, of course. We can now have it in the 950 or the 1100, so we have got an engine choice now. We got halogen headlamps, reversing lamp, heated rear window, 5-position reclining front seats and with fabric trim, folding rear package tray, door storage bins, and 145 SR steel braced radial tyres. And we can have a little bit of this little drawing. 70s, it was kind of like, if we look at the 60s, everything was drawn. The 70s, we sometimes get things drawn. We sometimes get real pictures. Here it's kind of like showing a very crude picture of the Fiesta. That very, very basic instruments. No rev counter, of course. Although I do like this green interior. Very 70s. I think it really does suit the car. It's showing, even though it's a tiny car, you can carry quite large objects. And indeed, the main picture itself, we can see that L badging on there, these little chrome bumpers. Again, this model is showing a chrome mirror. So again, I'm not sure if that was a standard thing or not, or it was black. Maybe it was chrome on the L, I'm not sure. And then over leaf, it's telling us the choice, a 950 or an 1100. Everything else very similar. And that's a look at some of the interior features. It says the car illustrated is a Fiesta L in Regency green with green houndstooth fabric trim. Options fitted on this one is that metallic paint, so you just have to pay a bit more for that metallic paint. And as we turn the page, we get to probably one of my favourite little Fiestas, particularly in this colour. This yellow looks very nice in this colour, the Fiesta S, and this is the one that comes in with an 1100 as standard, but you can have that 1300 option just to make it feel a little bit sportier. And of course we'll have a look at some of this text, but them seats look amazing, particularly with the yellow colour. If you had them yellow seats, I do particularly like that little sporty look. So my little favourite, this S, and yeah, I do particularly like this model. If you zoom in, if I can just about make it out, I think it just about says 1300, so this would have been the higher model, the one with the 1300 engine in there. And you can see the chrome bumpers have now been changed for black for that more sportier look. So it's saying here, Fiesta S, the sporty side of Fiesta. So we've got the 1100, now we've got this new 1300 engine we can have on this. Sports suspension and rear anti-roll bar, intermittent wipe and electric wash, centre console with electric clock, tachometer, Cadence fabric trim and servo assisted brakes. And this is a little bit of a better picture showing how that would be badged if you got the 1300 as opposed to the non-1300 where you just got a little S badge on it. And we can see now we do have a bit more comprehensive instrumentation. We do have that rev gauge now. So we've got the choice of 1100, 1300, suspension and steering slight change, a bit more of a sportier suspension setup. Brakes, as with the Fiesta, but with servo assistance now. Different wheels, electrical system, bodywork, and here is a look at some of them instrumentation. It's saying the car illustrated the Fiesta S in platinum with orange Cadence fabric trim, which will be this model just in shot here. Options fitted, extra cost, I should say, are these light alloy road wheels. So these are alloy wheels on here. Radio, rear wash wipe and head restraints. And of course, one thing to note on here, I guess, is these colour combinations. So the car featured is this platinum grey with this orange Cadence fabric trim, but also featuring like an orange line and the orange S badge. You can just about make out the orange seats on this one. And this would have been the same colour if the camera will just focus in for a moment. So yeah, yellow seats this time, and you can just about make out at the bottom a yellow line. So I guess the line depended on what colour seat choice that you chose. And then in this time we move on, and then we get to the Fiesta Ghia, the so-called luxury model, although there isn't really much luxury at this time surrounding it, other than you can see straight away, you know, can't you, the extra little bits, the extra wheels, the roof, you know, they tried to make it so you could see from some distance away that somebody had spent a little bit more money on it, but not a huge amount of equipment on it, of course. Again, we've got that same engine choice, the 1100, although you could have it with that 1300, as it proudly says here, now available with the 1300 engine. So on the Fiesta Ghia, the luxury side of Fiesta, so we've got the 1100 or that 1300. We can get alloy wheels now on this one. We've got tinted glass, we've got tailgate wash wipe, we've got something called a luxury interior trim, and a push button radio. I'm not entirely convinced there's really a great deal of luxury involved in those seats, but you know, more luxury than the other models, I guess. What else have we got on this page? A little bit of a look at the rear. You can see this nice roof treatment, and overall it does look like a certainly more luxurious model, featuring this little sunroof. Chrome mirrors on this one. And if we look at the specifications, again, we've got 1100, 1300, transmission the same, everything pretty similar, but if we get down to the body and the interior, you can see you've got a lot more equipment on the Ghia model. It's saying the car illustrated the Fiesta Ghia in oyster gold with tan Verona and crushed velour fabric trim. Options fitted on this model, that metallic paint. Head restraints, still an optional extra on the Ghia, which is surprising, isn't it? That vinyl roof, which I kind of was thinking was standard, is an optional extra. And the tilting removal screened sunroof. So most of the features I liked on there are actually optional extras, which is very much with the theme of Ford, I think. And then finally we get to the Fiesta specifications, which we'll certainly have a look at, and you can see where it fits in the line. Next model up would have been the Ford Escort, of course. Okay, so specifications, we can see there's a 957, 1117cc, or that 1298. We also can see there's two versions of the 957, isn't there? One with 40 brake horsepower, one with 45. So basically, your base Fiesta or your Fiesta L, you had a choice of having that lower brake horsepower one or the 45. The difference really is the fuel consumption. The lower model is 41.5 compared to 37.7. Performance wise, maximum speed of 80, 85, 90 or 98.2 depending on the model. So they're all interesting little figures. If we go down the limit, it amazingly talks about towing limit. So there's a towing limit on a Fiesta if you really did want to tow anything. And it also gives you some information about the luggage space as well. Okay, and then we've got options on the base model, the L, the S or the Ghia. The blue meaning it's an option. The square, the white square is telling us it's a standard piece of equipment. And there is the rest, and then at the bottom it's just talking about dimensions, etc. And that kind of like concludes this particular brochure. So there we go, that's it for the Ford Fiesta. Let me know of your memories. A lot of people's first car, no doubt, in the 70s, or your little Saturday or Sunday little run out to the store car. But like I said, let me know your memories, either brand new or second hand. That's it for today's episode. If you think Ford Fridays is a good idea and I should continue doing a Ford Fridays, please also jot that down in the comments and I could continue doing that. But for now, we'll say please do subscribe and like and comment, and we'll see you very soon. Take care. Goodbye.